Today, I will be showing you how to make modular arrowheads with and without a crush tip. Things you will need: a 3-inch piece of PVC or CPVC pipe, a dime, electrical or duct tape. For the crush tip, open cell foam, sheets of adhesive craft foam, and packing tape. When it comes to packing tape, you do not want to use cheap packing tape. Step 1. Your piece of PVC and the dime. Paste the dime on the head of your pipe and tape it down. Now, you take your sheets of craft foam, cut them in half. You will need 2 sheets cut in half, so you'll have 4 halves. Take the first half and set it where you have about 2 inches of foam above the dime. And then you begin to roll it. The first piece is always the hardest. You want to try to still have a nice little hole. We will be packing that later. And you want to try to keep it as level as possible at the top. If you don't have it very level, you can just easily clean that up with a few snips. Now you repeat this 2 more times with halves of the sticky back craft foam. You want to try to continue on where you left off and keep it level. You'll need roughly 4 or 5 sheets. There's our third half. Now the fourth half, you're going to want to set to the side for now. Now we have another sheet of sticky back cut into roughly thirds. You're going to start now with the thirds. And just continue on where you left off. Still trying to stay level with this side. Now that your thirds are done, you're going to want to take that other half, the fourth half that you set aside, and continue on from where you left off with the thirds. And where it overlaps, you're going to want to turn it slightly and cave that side in. Repeat directly below it. Quarter of a turn, and do the same thing. And then you're just going to want to pinch this foam to close it in. The overlap should be pinched. It'll be a little harder to pinch. Then you're going to take scissors, 2 snips, and cave that back in. You're going to want to do an angle and a straight. It's always best to double pinch before you snip. Now, almost done. You're going to get another sheet and cut a slight bit off the side. And continue on where you left off with your last half. Keep in mind you're not pressing this part down yet. This will overlap too. The side you cut off of will allow a little bit more access to the core. And then you repeat the cave-in process. Cave it down to the first round first. Pinch it. Pinch all the way up. Make sure you got it nice and snug. And then you cave it in a second time. And then you repeat the cutting process. Angle there, and an angle here. Then a straight, and another straight. And then you just pack it in. Repeat 3 more times. Now you can unpeel to help get it back to the core, stick to the core better, which is what I'll do in this scenario. Now, we're going to take all this extra foam that we have cut, pack down in This will be a little hard because of the adhesive foam. Now again, we're using craft foam. Place your head down on the sheet, get a marker, trace the outline of the arrow, and then you're going to cut that out. I now have my circle cut out. Then you just lay that over top, work it down, and if you cut it a little too big, now you trim. And there is your arrowhead without the crush tip. The next step is attaching the crush tip. Now you want to use packing tape for the fact of weight. You use duct tape, it adds a lot of unneeded weight for the arrow. I have a lot of pre-cut tape because that is the most time-consuming part. There is, however, an issue with packing tape. Whenever it crushes, it will stick to itself and won't let the head reform. Which is why you take another piece and take sticky side down to the other sticky surface, and my other piece just stuck to the table because I'm a genius. Thus enabling it to still adhere, crush, and reform without causing the head to collapse under itself or stick to itself. Now, the best way I've found to do this is to lay out all the pieces, put the tape on, and then fold them up to the arrowhead, which is what I'm about to do. I've also taken a bit of craft foam, a bit of the tape, put a piece over it and around. This is to prevent when change in temperature happens, the adhesive loses its stick. But it's only with the outer and this cover. Everything else pretty much stays after you compress it all down. Go ahead and put another one. It's way too much. Now you just go around. And when you're taping it, you don't want to pull it up because that gives you less of a crush head. Causes less of an effect for the crush head. So you want just enough that it's going to keep the crush tip attached to the base. Then you're going to take a nice long piece and run it around the length of the head to keep the anchors down. And then you can, trim it up, make it look real nice. And there you have your head with a crush tip. Now, roughly you have 2 inches of closed cell craft foam, then 2-inch crush tip with about a cross measurement of 2.5 inches. The next step, you're going to need another piece of craft foam and your arrow shaft. Of course, you don't want a head because that becomes dangerous. You're going to use the same concept as when you were putting it on a piece of pipe. I'm just going to stick it there, heave it down, and roll it up. Then you start twisting, trying to be very careful not to rip the foam. Once you get it start going in, you may want to make sure you have all of your grip on the pipe. If you do it by the head, there's a chance you'll mess up the head. And then you just slowly twist while pushing until you feel it hit the dime, and boom. Now all you need is a cover, and you have your arrow. Now the good part about this method is the arrow is not going to come off without a good force. And when it comes to the foam, you're going to have a nice decent amount to stabilize the shaft after you get it in the pipe, so you don't have a wobbly shaft just wiggling around. Now, with this method also, if your shaft breaks or gets bent or damaged, it's easy. You just replace the shaft, pop the head back off, and it's ready to go on a new shaft.